Hey everyone. So this sentence construction that I'd like you to try, just try it, is called with one long dash. And there's a whole different sentence construction that uses two long dashes. So remember, this one has one. And it's pretty easy. I find that when I introduce this, that most people can jump in and do it with very little problem. So I have some examples here. The only questions that you usually have is what can happen before the dash and what can happen after the dash. So let's be really clear about that. Usually before the dash, you have a sentence. So in this first example, we are people who believe in the first person singular. Whatever that means. Richard Rodriguez, he always says some strange things. But whatever it means, we could stop it at that point and it would be a sentence. But instead, the long dash is think of it as a break in the syntax, the tone, the direction that you're going in with the sentence. You're just heading off in a different direction and you want to signify that different direction with a long dash. So, we are people who believe in the first person singular, long dash, which is our strength. So you're not really sure which direction he's going to go in, and then he does an evaluative break, like it's a good thing. And he stays pretty descriptive up until that point. And so the dash indicates a new direction that you're heading in. Now I want you to notice which is our strength is not a sentence. It's sort of a dependent clause, and you need something else. So in this case, which is our strength, if you put a period after singular, you couldn't just say which is our strength unless you wanted to do a fragment on purpose. So let's look at a couple of the others because I've given you 4 examples here just to indicate variety of what you can do. So when, there are 2 quotes by this woman named Jessie Mann, who's the daughter of a famous photographer. And this is an interview, it comes out of an interview that she has. When we were taking pictures, it created a relationship with Mom that's very different from other people's relationships. Again, you could stop it right there, a period. But then she goes on, much more powerful. And again, it's similar to the Richard Rodriguez sentence in that she begins to evaluate the relationship. Up until then, she's a little vague. Much more powerful is a new direction. And also notice it's just a phrase. There's not even a verb. Much more powerful. So you can do a clause, which is our strength. Or you can just do a phrase, much more powerful. Both are options. Now, the second Jessie Mann quote. Now, when I leave my apartment for vacation, no matter how anticipated the trip, I experience numbing panic. Now that I'm reading this sentence, I don't think it's by her, but I don't remember who. I think this is by a woman called Nicole Lammy. I misquoted. Now when I leave my apartment for vacation, no matter how anticipated the trip, I experience numbing panic. Again, you could end it there. That's a sentence. And then, but instead of ending it with a period, long dash, will I ever see home again? And why I chose this example is that this is actually a sentence. So you have 3 choices now. Long dash clause, subordinating clause, long dash phrase, or long dash an entire sentence. So how's this one? Will I ever see home again? Well, one way that it's different, it's a question. And up until that point, it hasn't been a question. So she breaks it and asks a question. So that is a change in syntax. It's a totally different, question syntax is different than a normal sentence. Okay, so clause, dependent clause, phrase, a whole other sentence. And then I chose this 4th one from the architect and sculptress Maya Lin. And what I want you to notice is that what comes after the the long dash in this case is actually longer than what comes before it. So you can make it longer. It doesn't have to be shorter. In the other examples, it's shorter, but not this case. It was still, in my mind, an exercise. Long dash, as competitions customarily are for architecture students. So that's another example, and actually this fourth one is kind of like the first one. So you have which here, and then you have as here. So they're both subordinating clauses. So you have a variety of things that you can do after. You have to be pretty consistent before. You have to give me a sentence before the long dash, and then depending on what you want to do, you can do a variety of things afterwards. Occasionally, like 1 out of every 50 students, they'll try to do the long dash the first thing in the sentence. It has to come in the second half. That's a definite rule. So you have to have the beginning sentence, and then the long dash, and then whatever else you want to give me. So this is pretty easy, but none of you ever do it before I tell you to do it, or like 1 or 2 students do it on their own. I don't know where they learned it. But now I'd like to get like 80% of you to try doing this sentence construction. Don't overdo it. Just do it like once a page. Just toss one out, okay? I think you'll like it.